या देवी सर्वभूतेषु ईर्ष्यारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः. The goddess present, the source energy present in us in form of love, in form of empathy, compassion, and also jealousy. I pray to these energies before starting today's session. Today's basic session is that why are we judging others? Do all of us judge every other person, or there are only some of us who are in the business of judging others? And if there are only some people, what they like? You see, we say in case somebody is mean to us and I come to know about it, somebody comes to me for an advice that my near and dear one are very mean to me. You know what I advise? I never say that you go and fight. I say, you know why it is happening? And they say, not really. And I tell them, it is happening because they need more love. They are deprived of love and affection from you. Go and love them more, they will become all right. Now, here again, I would like to inform you that the people who tries to judge others has an element of fear in them. And that fear keeps disturbing them inside of themselves. And they are being continuously judged by their inner voice. Their inner voice always says that you are not on the right path. There are some difficulties and problems in you, and you need to change. They don't hear to that. And what they try to do, that because the fault is not outside. I always say that nothing exists outside of you. So fault is within you. You do not feel complete inside of you, and therefore you try to find fault with others. And some of the behavior, some of the nature, what this fear brings in us is anxiousness first. Fear also brings anger in us because we are not able to perform things as per what I need, what I want, and that brings a little anger to us, the anxiousness in us, and those anxiousness and angers, they keep disturbing us always. And as a result, we start having low self-esteem, low self-worth. You see, all those people who tries to judge you, just see them. They will always have a lower self-esteem. Because of the fear inside of them, they cannot appreciate anybody. When it comes to appreciation, they freak out and is not able to appreciate anyone. Another thing which is very important here to know, that they believe in good and bad. There is something good for them and there is something bad for them. They have never understood that good and bad is only relative. And in reality, it does not exist. And how it is relative? Anything what is forced on you and you have to do unwillingly, that thing is bad for you. And anything which you are doing willingly is good for you. Any act you are performing anywhere on this earth, if you don't like it and you are forced to do it, you will always say that there is something wrong and I should not do it. So what happens? It is just the weaknesses or set of weaknesses present in a person whose inner self keeps judging him or her. Now he or she is not addressing her or his inner self. Instead, they go and criticize somebody else. They go and start judging somebody else. And you become the victims because you are being judged. And when somebody judges us, if we are weak in ourselves, then we take it to our heart and become sad. The food you cooked today was not nice. If somebody says that, it disappoints us. And when somebody says that, oh, the food you cooked was great today, we get a very nice feeling inside of ourselves, and next time we want to serve better. So what is in the benefit of the person who is criticizing? He loses. He is never a gainer. He always loses people's interest. Nobody wants to talk to them. And slowly these people becomes suspicious, unscrupulous. And a person who is being judged, if he is having self-esteem, if he is having his inner strength, he says, okay, there is no problem. Maybe next time I will try in a good way. And if he doesn't have self-esteem, he also feels very bad about it and start feeling adverse qualities among himself or herself, and that disturbs you inside. There is a saying which I always often try to quote is, if you have a blanket, let us say, and you want to give it to me, and I don't take it from you, where is the blanket now remaining?
Yeah, still
It
with
is
you.
remaining with you. And if it is remaining with you, same things are the criticism, are the judgment. In my heart, I know that whatever you are saying is yours. I know how perfect or imperfect I am. Nobody knows about me better than me. Nobody knows about you better than you. And therefore, I do not take to criticism if I am a positive person. If I'm a negative person, then I would like always to criticize somebody else. Even look in politics, in discussions, in rivalry, in business, you always tend to criticize your competitors. There is no use. This says that you are lacking something inside of you and you need more love, more empathy, more kindness, more compassion, and bring more positivity inside of you. These are the things what we understand, that your spiritual energy, because in this whole universe everything is energy. So in turn, if I say that you have fear, you have got aggressiveness, you have got anger, you have got not self-confidence, you are unscrupulous, you are suspicious. What does this exactly mean? It basically means that you don't have energy to survive. You don't have energy to survive. You don't have required energy, and then you are not confident. Then from where this confidence plays a role? If I do not have energy, I'm not certain about my tomorrow. I'm always worried about the past and worried about the future. I never try to live in the present moment. And then what happens? That these behaviors starts developing in me by itself. If I'm not good, how can somebody else be good? An emotion of jealousy, envious nature comes in us, and we becomes a critic. We start criticizing others. Okay, and judging is nothing but a criticism. What right I have got to judge you without your permission? It is a kind of an attack by a weak person to a strong person. Therefore, if you are a strong person, you should not take judgment by somebody else to your heart. That is why we always say that in life, satisfaction shall be more important than success. Because success is my report card given by somebody else. I have been judged by somebody else to have an opinion whether I am successful or not. And what is satisfaction? Satisfaction is your evaluation about yourself. Whatever work you are doing, if you are satisfied by that work, it is more than enough. And with that, if you can also become successful in the others' eyes, it is well and good. And if not, you must be happy with the satisfaction. There are very less people who can remain firm in the judgment of their inner self, who can pass by the criticism of their inner self. If you are passing that, I think that is what is more important than anything else. Now, second aspect of this discussion is what can we do so that this behavior of ours changes. Or a person who is always judging somebody, how can we help them so that they become non-judgmental? Because if you want to have a nice society, you have to have nice people, satisfied people, people who has confidence in themselves, people who does not fear, people who doesn't become envy for any development of the neighbor. These qualities you need in all of us in case we want to build a beautiful, nice, satisfied society. And what we need to do for attaining this? Problem is known. That problem is fear. Problem is known that it is a behavior of uncertainty, suspicion, pessimistic behavior, not the optimistic behavior. But how can we change from pessimistic to optimistic? From envious to nice things, praising, from criticizing to praising? How can we change that? And if you want to change, you need only one quality. And that quality is observation. If you start observing instead of criticizing, instead of judging, understand what is the difficulty of the person you are going to judge, observe it, automatically you will stop judging it. But from where I get the quality of observation? How can we observe? And this cultivating observation can be cultivated from meditation and spirituality. When your mind, what meditation does, it makes your mind calm. It removes all the fear from us. You are not worried about anything. You start to learn to live in the present moment. Not worried about others' success and their failures. You are worried only about your inner journey. What your inner self says about you, you get to yourself. And when you get to yourself, instead of being judgmental, you know that you cannot change anybody else other than yourself, and therefore your concentration goes to yourself. And you start becoming a fair person. Now, when we meditate or try to bring spirituality in ourselves, what quality we get? We get a quality of non-expectation, quality of giving without expecting anything back. These are the spiritual and meditative qualities. So as a result, what happens? An unconditional love or a giving love starts developing in you. So somebody has criticized you, somebody is judging you. What you give? You understand that something is lacking in them. And because of that, this behavior is just a reflection of something what is happening deep inside them because no one loves them. And then you will be able to provide some affection, some love to them, and that may change their behavior. Next quality, what meditation and spirituality brings in us is empathy. When empathy comes in, you are able to feel others' pain. You are able to feel others' happiness. And you do it with love, with affection. And in every good and bad moment of theirs, good and bad, again, I tell you the relative, but when a person is thinking low esteemed, we go and stand with them, pat her back, and say, don't worry, I stand with you. And I will be able to take care of you in all your adverse and good times. Don't worry, just relax. My love is not conditional. I don't want anything in return to what I am giving. But anytime you need anything, you can always knock my heart and knock my doors, and I'll be there for you. The moment you say this much, you will say that this weak person who was judging you always, tears starts coming out of their eyes. They become so emotional. They start crying in front of you because they feel little loved in themselves. They feel that yes, there is at least one person in this world who says that come what may, I'll be with you. Okay. And then someone says, I fear that you will forget me. And then you reassure them, no, I will definitely not forget you. And in all your adverse and good time, when you need me, you will find me standing just close to you, in front of you, supporting you all the time, and walking along with you wherever you want to go. And this empathy makes them so happy that this behavior of judgments, which he has no right to judge anybody, still he judges, goes away. Third thing, what meditation and spirituality brings in is observing kindness. These are the qualities what gets developed when you start your meditation, when you start your spiritual journey. Kindness starts coming in you. And as a kindness, every person, I tell you, there is a little this thing that you are capable, you can help others. Others are not capable. Every one of us are capable. And if you want to test it, somebody says that I don't have money, and tell them, oh no, your eyes are worth $100,000. Give me an eye and I get you 100,000. And you see, he will always refuse. Because his eyes are priceless. So everyone in this universe is worth. Only thing is that we have to tell them that you are worth everything. What is the problem with our society, our parents, our teachers, our neighbors? You are of no use. You cannot do any good thing, And then sometimes person starts believing what you say. And he becomes worthless. Every person is worth millions and billions and trillions of dollars. I'm talking in the money because saying always goes in money. But it is not money. It is not money what is important. What is important that you have certain nice values. You are understanding about yourself that, and you are confident about yourself. There is a person who loves me a lot. And she always say, I'm so worried, I don't know whether you will get the rice for the evening or not. And I smile back always to her and say, don't worry. I'll have enough for me and also for you. Don't worry. You don't worry that. And of course, the world has been very kind to me always. And people has always said that they stand by me. But if you say this, then don't worry. The nature will take care of us. And I don't know from where we have lost that confidence. Nature takes care of us in such a way that before I was born, I was in the womb of my mother, about to be born on this earth, and my mother started lactating. The milk started coming in her breast to take care of my feeding before my birth. If nature and universe, a source, whatever you want to name it, God, takes care of us so much that even before our birth, it sends food first and birth takes place later. Then why not we will have food available for us always? Why not we'll have the luxuries needed for us for always? And that is why I say her, don't worry. I think your love is more important, your affection is more important, your care is more important. Rest everything I will be able to manage by myself for both of us. So don't worry about it because it happens. There are very less people who dies because of the hunger, but there are many people who dies because of overeating. At least there are more people who are dying because of overeating than dying because of hunger.
What did you say? What's the other word?
Hunger.
Not hunger and the other one?
Overeating.
Overeating.
Yes.
Okay.
So there are many people who die because of overeating than because people eat less. If you eat less, nature and your body will automatically be taken care of. Then next is compassion. The moment somebody starts judging you, please understand that he or she needs more compassion. Okay. And then you shower your affection and love on them. And they start regaining their self-confidence. Compassion is also the quality which comes to you when you are practicing meditation and you are on the path of spirituality. And last but not least, which is very important aspect of the life, is bringing positivity. It's not necessary that you will be positive. If you have accumulated riches, food and everything for 1 million years, then you will say, okay, for 1 million years it is sufficient. But what about 1,000,001st year? And if you are positive in nature, you don't need to accumulate anything. You have the confidence that I have got 2 hands, 2 legs, a little brain, and I will be able to take care of myself under any circumstances. And this, because of your compassion, because of your empathy, if you are able to put these thoughts in the person who is weak and is judging others, then you will see his behavior will start changing. He has lost confidence in him. He fears whether he will be able to survive by himself or not. All these qualities. And then sometimes what happens, they will say, God has given this. You have lost your confidence. Rest, everything is okay with you and with the person who has got better positivity. You just need to be positive, and whatever you are thinking, you start manifesting. That is what law of attraction is. You think I will always be happy, I will always be happy, and I will always be happy, you will always be happy. And if you start thinking, oh my God, she is more happy than me, she earns more money than me, oh my God, I am not able to do it, then you can have only jealousy, you can have only judgment, but no happiness inside of you. This inside happiness can come to a person only who is taking care of her inner self, his inner self, and not worrying a lot. And then, if those qualities starts developing in us, then judgments will go away from this earth. Everything is good. This feeling that something is good and something is bad, and not even when the people start judging, they don't even think that something is good and something is bad. They start thinking that, oh my God, everything is bad. Their trust gets broken completely. They always live in suspicion. And one very nice story I wanted to share with you. A person came, a very rich lady came to our ashram. And we took her to a riverside. We don't have sea close to us, but we have got a beautiful river, and we took her there. And then you see how much is the perception difference. Then another lady came to her and she said, okay, I want, since you are unique here, you have come from somewhere else, please take my child in your hand and let me take a photograph. And you know what she thinks? This lady is giving me the child. She wants she want me to take her child and she will run away from my mobile phone. This is the perception difference, you know. Uh, and in reality, nothing can go wrong to you as long as you have confidence in you, as long as you have trust in you, as long as you have got unconditional love for everyone, as long as you have empathy, kindness, compassion, and positivity. And all these qualities from where you get? You get from less expectations, more observing than judging, and by spiritual development, and by meditating and going deep inside you, understanding that outside world is nothing but the reflection of my inside, and knowing that law of attraction exists, and whatever I want to manifest outside, I have to do that inside of me. The moment you start doing those things inside of you, a real manifestation takes place, and you are never sad. And nobody, and you don't mind, you don't bother in case somebody is judging you or not. You don't judge anyone, but in case somebody is judging you, you think, okay, that was her thought, that was her thinking. I have not taken it, and therefore there is no question of any reaction inside of me. Her thoughts remains with her because I have not taken it. And that's the feeling when it starts coming to you. Please understand that you are moving towards completion. And very soon, everything is going to become all right, and you will not be affected by outside interferences. Thank you.
Why is it so difficult to accept being criticized by people we love, like family members?
You know, a person walking on the street, can you have any expectation with that person?
No.
No. So if you do not have expectation, can an expectation break?
No.
No. So why should you be sad for the person who is walking on the street?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to your family members, we have highest expectations. And most of the times, those expectations are not fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And when those expectations are not fulfilled, expectation is mother of disappointment, of sadness. So the moment your expectation is not fulfilled, you will get disappointment with your family member. You will get disappointment with your loved one and close one. A person who is walking on the street, you are not worried because you don't have any expectation from him.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, who disturbs you the most? The one who loves you the most.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answers the question.
Where is the difference between judging and giving feedback in work quality, in work environment? How to handle that spiritually?
Yeah. Look, I think judging comes with an ego, and feedback is the honest feedback given to you, given by you to somebody else. Okay. Judging comes with envious behavior. Judging comes with jealousy. Feedback comes from the heart. And it is not difficult for the person who is receiving it to understand whether it is feedback or it is criticism or it is judgment. And how the feedbacks are given. Oh, you have done this work very beautifully. Okay. How beautifully you cook your food. I wish that with the same manner you could have taken care of your studies also. This is a feedback. And what is judgment? You are no good in studies. You need to improve a lot. Either you improve or perish. These are the judgments. I think you can understand when somebody is giving you feedback or somebody is judging you. It is very easy to find out. Okay. Judgment comes with a sarcastic language. They comes with little anger, little frustration, little suspicion, and honest opinion comes as a friend's opinion. And it is being said, you are so good in other things. You are so close to me. But this behavior of yours is, I think, not good. And maybe we can make a little improvement in that. That is the feedback. So I hope you can always find out what is the judgment and feedback, and it is not difficult for you to find out. Yes, we must give feedback to our near and dear one, to whomever we love, because they need to improve and they should improve. But we should not judge anyone. Thank you. I think that answers the question.
Yeah. When we share our future plans with our parents, our thoughts, why do they criticize us instead of encouraging us? Is this a problem in us or in them?
Both. Number one, the problem with the parents is that they love their children very much. If it is your question, you can understand because you are a mother and you are also a daughter. So same thing, you see, and I tell you, I am also a father. I can tell you, I make life of my son miserable whenever I am with him. You know, he is driving a car for last 10 years. And the moment I'll sit with him and he will drive, I will always say, stop, stop. Oh, you are driving very rough, you know. So I don't know why it happens that because of very deep love towards our children, we don't develop enough confidence in them. So this is not jealousy. This is not judgment. This is a kind of love in which lot of worries are there. So parent always worries and want their children to be safe always. And therefore, whatever plans you take to your parents, they first try to over-evaluate it. And they see only the risk factors. And that is why I think the world over, other than in my country it appears, world over, the moment a child is 18 years, he is independent. And second thing I would like to tell you, I mean, this is not related to this topic, but I can tell you, if you try to plant a seed underneath a tree, it doesn't grow. Therefore, it is our duty as a parent to make our children independent. We must be available to them whenever they need us. And we must not be available to them always. Otherwise, they will not be able to grow in our shadow because we always overprotect them. If you want to have a nice crop of wheat or any crop, pulses or whatever, you need to put the crop under the sun. More rigorous it is, the better crop will be. Similarly, our children, when they become 18, 17, 20, whatever, they must go through a rigorous program. And we should not overshadow them. But whenever you take your project to your parents, they always overshadow you. Okay, I'll give you this money. This project is not useful. Or there is a lot of risk involved in it. There is risk involved, and in every aspect of life, risk is involved. You are driving a motorcycle, risk is involved. You are driving a car, risk is involved. You are eating food, risk is involved. You are going to toilet, risk is involved. Anything you do, there is always a risk. So, all those who are parents here and listening, they must try to free their children to as much as possible. Yes, if they are failing anywhere and we need to support them, we must always try and support them. Otherwise, allow them to do their own work. I hope that answers the question.
What is the difference between proactive confrontation and reactive behavior?
It is very well known. Reactive behavior comes as a reaction to something. And proactive confrontation, you want to make a confrontation and you go and fight. And reactive is in case somebody says to you something and you don't like, then reaction comes in. But more than that, what is important, that why reaction should come. If somebody is saying what doesn't suit you, don't take it. There would be no reaction. So the question will not arise for reactive behavior. And proactive confrontation comes always because of the fear. You know why so many guns are being bought?
How many what?
Guns.
Guns.
Arms. Why so many arms are being bought in this world? It is only because of fear. Otherwise, arms are not needed. And why a country wants to become mightier than the others? Because of fear. So proactive confrontation, it looks that a person is strong and therefore want to make a confrontation with you. That's not true. Maybe he is strong, but he is in a fear. And that is why that confrontation takes place.
Yeah.
Both of them are not good. You must try to remain to yourself and should not try for proactive confrontation, and also shall not react on somebody else saying. Try to be to yourself. Love, empathy, kindness, compassion, and positivity solves all the problem. If you have got any difference of opinion with your mother, sit down. Make a tea to your mom. Serve her and talk what is bothering you. And there is no one, when you try to talk with these positive qualities of love, empathy, that they will not hear you. They will hear you and resolve the problems nicely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But from not the last question, but the question before, that you said, I have a question: when we share our future plans with our parents and our thoughts, why do they criticize us? You answered that, but you said at the beginning, both are doing something wrong. So I understood that we need to give our children freedom, and we don't need to put the seed underneath the tree to, give them room to grow and all that. So what is the, from the child's or the son's perspective, what was he doing wrong?
I did not understand. What was he doing wrong?
Okay,
Means?
so you said both are doing something wrong. Like the parents are not giving the child freedom and are, out of love, they're controlling too much. But what should the child do then? Just
Oh,
smile
yes.
and
I
give
understood
them
the
more
question.
love, or okay.
Yes. You see, children are also on this thing that they try to hide a lot of things from their parents. They try to bring the information only at the last moment.
Okay.
And specifically, I can give you some examples that you talk to them, they will be somewhere else, and they don't want their parents to know. They will say, I'm here. And a lady came to me, I tell you a very nice story. A lady came to me and she says, it's a very strange situation with me, Guruji. I said, what is the problem? Tell me. She says, my son came home and I took his telephone, and from his telephone I called 3 of his friends. Okay. The first friend says, I asked him, where is my son? Where is Gopal? Gopal was his name. And friend replies, Auntie, see, he was here just a moment before he left. Okay. Then she called the second friend, and that friend also said the same thing. He was here just a moment back. He just left. And then she says that I called the third friend. And the third friend says, okay, Auntie, he's here. He's here. I just make you talk to him. And then he speaks to me in my son's voice, who is sitting in front of me. Mama, I'm coming. Just give me 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, I'll be with you. So these young children, they always try to do like this. They are smart. They are smart and they try to do this. And because of what? Parents get a suspicion. They think that my children are not capable enough yet to take the responsibility. But in reality, they are capable enough. They want to hide something from their parents. And this age is that it is natural and it is nice. But yes, this happens with the young children because of this mistake of theirs. Parents, they don't trust that you are mature enough to do this project. You understand?
I understand, yes.
Yeah, I think this story of a woman, but it is not her story. It happens to every adolescent, every 18 years old, 19 years old boys and girls. And then parents thinks that, oh, he is not mature to take $1 million project which you have taken to your mother.